Congressman Robert Garcia has just come out to state that he is going to be putting forward 3 new amendments for UAP disclosure and transparency, basically calling out the government for not giving us all of the information that they're aware of and putting these amendments in place so that they've basically got no choice. And this is a fantastic day for the UFO community because, of course, disclosure is exactly what we're after. We want the government to tell us exactly what's going on, what they know, and the fact that what people are seeing in their night skies is not actually just tinfoil hat wearing conspiracies. We want to know what's truly going on. Now, Robert Garcia has been a very outspoken congressman alongside, you know, the likes of Anna Paulina Luna, Matt Gaetz, Tim Burchett. You know, he's been very outspoken on the UAP topic, and here he is talking during the UAP hearing about 10 months ago on the 26th of July 2023, where he made some very interesting points. Take a little listen to this. Where's my cursor? There it is.
I will recognize National Security Subcommittee Ranking Member Garcia for 10 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank first our witnesses for joining us today. I want to begin by thanking you all for your service to our country and for sharing your voices today and your courage to be here as well. To Mr. Graves, particularly grateful to you to spend some time that we had for you to share with candor some of your experiences, so I appreciate that as well. I do want to thank all the members of our subcommittee today and also those that are here and have waved on for their incredible interest in this issue. Particularly to Congressman Burchett, I know that your leadership has brought us to this place today, and I want to thank you for that, as well as everyone else that's been engaged in this work. I also want to...
I love how engaged and how, like, on the front foot these congressmen are to this topic, because obviously it is little green men that we're talking about. You know, we are talking about UFOs, and it could just be laughed out of these hearings and these, like, by the Congress, and it could be, you know, like, it could just be one of those topics where it's like, no, we don't talk about that. Well, we've got a country to run. But no, it's taken so seriously over in the States, and I love it.
I thank the oversight staff, who I know has been working very hard to ensure that today's hearing is serious, that it's transparent, and that it also provides appropriate answers, as our oversight body always demands. Now, it's really important that we're here in a bipartisan way to have this conversation, which really, to the heart of it, is about national security and key to the subcommittee's core purpose. This is the subcommittee on national security of the Oversight Committee.
Damn straight.
Now, our witnesses will testify today that UAPs have posed a serious safety threat, and we must understand this. More broadly, we're dealing with real questions that get to the heart of our faith in government. Faith in our institutions, as we all know, is at an all-time low. Partisanship and alternative facts make it too easy to doubt narrative or our institutions. But this hearing will offer the public unique perspectives, building on years of reporting by both federal agencies and the independent media. Now, some of the earliest reporting on this issue was a groundbreaking 2017 New York Times report, which revealed research, as we know now, on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or as many call UFOs, by the Defense Intelligence Agency. Mr. Graves and Commander Favor's experiences with UAPs have also been documented by the public, not just by the New York Times, but CNN and many other national news outlets. Now, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has published public reports documenting UAPs, and on June 9th, 2022, NASA announced that the agency is commissioning a study to, of course, examine unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now, the sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena should raise real questions and warrant investigation and oversight, and that's why we are here today. Now, pilots have reported encounters for years. Now, because of the stigma around reporting these incidents, we still don't have a complete picture of actually what's going on, particularly as our witnesses will testify on the civilian side, and that is a real problem that we have today in the country.
This is what the issue is, right? Is these people have been in power for so long that, and you know, this topic has been so taboo for so long that it's just all kept cards close to your chest style, and the public don't have no idea what's really going on. But people are wising up, the internet's growing, and obviously people are able to voice their opinions just like I am today. And this is really starting this snowball effect where it's piling up, and the pressure on the, not just the US government, but practically every world government across every topic, not just UFOs. Back 50 years ago, you know, the government could laugh at someone for bringing up this topic. Now, it's... Ugh, I've got hair in my mouth. But now, it's taken so seriously because there is such an interest in it, because people don't like being lied to. The pressure on the government is immense, to the point where it's getting to the point where, like, they might have no choice soon but to disclose something.
Now, it's very important that we show that Democrats and Republicans in Congress can come together in a bipartisan way to cut through misinformation and to look at the facts in a serious and thoughtful manner. If we are to advance oversight and public disclosure, we must also gain the broad support of the public. We will succeed getting facts out to the public faster if there is a broad public support as part of the process.
Agreed.
Now, I understand fully the Department of Defense is hesitant to share information that could also undermine our national security by revealing information on the capabilities of our own aircraft, our sensors, and other sensitive material.
Right, I understand that. That's obviously why the government doesn't want to share this information, because it could become as a national security threat. You don't need to give us the ins and outs. Like, I don't care what you got hidden in Area 51 and what military aircraft you've created. I want to know how you made it. I want to know that something from up there has come down, you've managed to reverse engineer it, and you've managed to implement that within your new crafts that you want to keep secret. I don't care what you've got. I just want to know the ins and outs of how this came to be. If you don't tell me what you've got, but you told me how you went about getting it, that's not a national security threat. Like, because you're not disclosing this TR-3B, for example, but that doesn't exist. But what you're telling me is actually there was something of non-human intelligence that helped us to create this. What's the harm in that?
At the same time, many people believe that we're withholding information from them, and that is dangerous also.
It is.
I believe in openness and transparency. That is also the role of Congress. And I want to trust that the American people will be able to weigh the evidence and make up their own minds. Now, we have incidents where sensors, sometimes even multiple types of sensors, detect things that we cannot explain. UAPs, whatever they may pose a serious threat to our military or civilian aircraft, and that must be understood. Now, my career and training as a longtime and career educator and teacher and researcher tell me that we should never rule anything out. We know that our space, of course, is vast and undiscovered. I also want to note that Mr. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the component of the DoD office that investigates UAP data, has testified before the Senate this year that his unit has found no evidence of extraterrestrial activity. NASA has also stated that they don't have evidence of extraterrestrial life either, and we've heard this, of course, from some of our government agencies. And we should remind viewers and witnesses, which I think is really important, that we also cannot share classified information in public settings. But questions, of course, remain that people want to see data and information for themselves. The enormous interest in the hearing today underscores the importance of a fair and open look at the evidence from witnesses who can share their unique perspectives. Now, I know I certainly have a lot of questions, and I know that all the members of our committee do as well. We should come to this hearing with an open mind, and we should not let our existing ideas restrict us on either side. I hear over and over from many agencies the stigma around reporting and investigating UAPs prevents us from getting real answers. We know that whistleblowers have reported harassment, intimidation, or stigma as well, and this is not acceptable. If people can't report incidents which would have national security or safety implications, then that also has serious consequences for us. As ranking member of this subcommittee, I know my job would be completely impossible if whistleblowers or others feel intimidated to come before this committee. We can't be afraid of asking questions, and we can't be afraid of the truth. I'm proud to say that this hearing builds upon bipartisan work by members of the House and Senate dating many years back, which is sought to increase awareness within the Department of Defense and to mandate more of Congress of UAPs. We know the Senate is taking up an amendment to their defense authorization bill, which will create a commission with broad declassification authority, and we should all agree that that is an important step. Members of both parties and senior officials in multiple administrations have taken an interest in this issue, and we're proud to carry and build that confidence in the American people. This hearing will also not be the end of this discussion, but a new chapter and start to years and years of work that many folks, both in the public and within government, have been working on.
Right, I'm going to stop it there, but obviously, that was a bit of insight as to who Robert Garcia is for anyone that is unaware of his presence within the UAP community. Obviously, as well, I think it was last month. Or no, it was a few months ago, sorry, I'm thinking of something else from last month. A few months ago, there was obviously a classified UFO briefing, which took place with some Congress people. Obviously, we heard comments from Anna Paulina Luna, we heard comments from Tim Burchett, Dan Gum, we also heard, but there's also been comments from Robert Garcia, and these were the comments that he made post that interview.
We got to talk about this more.
Okay.
So, I mean, does any of this go toward your conversation about trying to get this bipartisan bill? I mean, is there something that touched on this?
I mean, look, I think that the bipartisan bill came out of a discussion at a first hearing to ensure that pilots have an ability to report UAPs. There right now is no system for pilots or aviation personnel to report UAPs, whatever UAPs may be, and so the bill would actually do that. Obviously, we can't talk about the details of the briefing, but I think there was some interesting information, and so I think that this is a topic that I think is a national security issue, and it's really important that there's disclosure and transparency. I think that's what the public wants. I think it's also a very serious topic, and so we've got to just take it with seriousness. It is not a joke.
And without giving up state secrets here, we had a couple other members who were just here who said they were disappointed in what they were bipartisan, Democrat or Republican. But one member used the term that what they were exploring here were, her phrase, interdimensional beings. Is that something that we're dealing
That was obviously what David Grush referred to them as.
with here potentially?
I mean, I think it's easy to be disappointed when you don't get all the information that you want, which I understand. I would have loved to receive much more information, but I think that it's reasonable to say that everyone that was in the room received probably new information. I certainly did, and I think it's interesting, additional information to continue the investigation and ask more questions. So definitely have more questions than less questions.
Does that term mean anything to you?
I'm not going to get into any terms. I just think that it's more important to focus on that this is a serious topic and it deserves serious attention. And I actually encourage also members of the media to continue covering this topic. I think that's really important. It is not a fringe topic. It is a serious national security topic.
Continuing the investigation, what does that mean? Is that more hearings? Is that what do you think?
Well, I mean, as the ranking member of the subcommittee that oversees obviously this topic, I would like to have more hearings. And so I think we've made that request already of the committee, and I think that the hearing requires more investigation.
Who would you like to hear from next?
Oh, good question.
I think it's public knowledge that everyone, folks, this is an interdepartmental effort as it relates to the agencies involved in oversight and in the UAP conversation. And so it's obviously not just the Defense Department, I think, which is at the center of this, but also our intelligence agencies.
Are you satisfied with the answers you're getting from the intelligence community today during the briefing?
I mean, I would not describe it that way. I understand that classification is complicated, and I certainly want more answers. But sure, I would have loved to receive more information, but I would not characterize the discussion as not providing new information, and certainly interesting information.
One of your colleagues said that they seem to keep sending people who either intentionally don't know or intentionally not going to say, as opposed to just.
I would disagree with that assessment. I think that you have serious professionals that have long distinguished records in public service. They're trying their best to navigate a very complex issue, and yes, it's true that probably all of us want more answers and more information. But I think that we received additional information today, which I think will lead to other actions.
I am excited to see what comes forward from these, from these hearings and stuff like this. Obviously, they've asked for more since then. I think there's been, one more since this one that took place. So there should be some more information to come forward. But, like I said, Congressman Garcia over on Twitter said that he is offering 3 UAP amendments for the National Defense Authorization Act. We must continue to responsibly push for safe reporting of UAPs and bring the transparency to the public. This is critical for our national security. And then he also sub-commented saying, my first amendment creates a UAP reporting mechanism for civil pilots. My second amendment includes UAP disclosure provisions from last year that were blocked, including UAP record review board. And my final amendment ensures that Arrow has access to the convent intel for investigations. Now, of course, Arrow, I only recently learned this, but Arrow don't have as much authority as I thought. Their clearance, so imagine that, I think there's like 5 levels of clearance. Obviously, the president gets instant level 5 clearance. He gets eyes on absolutely everything, or she. And then you obviously have 4, 3, 2, 1, and then depending on your role in the military or in the government, you get certain access to certain levels. But Arrow only get like level 2 security clearance, which means anything above that, which is probably where UFOs and aliens are sitting, they're not able to access those files, which means what's the point of having them? You know, like, they of course can provide a little bit of context to some things, but they can't go and investigate like full-blown things because they've not got the clearance to see it. So it's a bit crazy, and I think that the fact that Arrow don't have that makes them subpar at best. But there has also been a report, I will link this down in the comments, on the description, sorry, I'm not going to go through this all myself, but this is the Amendment Rules to Committee Print 118 through to 36, offered by Mr. Robert Garcia of California, and as you can see, it is a 47-page document. So I'm not going to go through it all. Like I said before, you guys can go and crack on with that if you want to, but I think this could be fantastic. Again, when this partners up with the video that I made yesterday about the disclosure fund, obviously the disclosure fund is funded by the public, and the idea is to push for disclosure and security for whistleblowers. If you partner this hand in hand with these amendments, you could have a formidable powerhouse in Congress which basically forces transparency to the public, which we're all for. And I'm sure, well, you might be all for. I'm all for it. So long as, obviously, it doesn't infringe with national security. There will be things, of course, that will still be reluctantly removed because national security purposes or whatever they like to label it as. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button if you haven't already. And subscribe if you're new, and tick on my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. And until next time, guys, I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.